Hello, I'm Tom Mintier. Welcome back to Tonight. We were talking during the break about body language versus spoken language. It's really parallel. If you have the wrong body language and the right spoken language, it doesn't work.
Right. And many Westerners think that you need to have the right spoken language all the time, when a lot of the time in Thai, you'd know, Tom, that it's not spoken. You know, Kun Som Chai, how's that report going that's due on Friday? Is it going to be up? Is it going to be ready? Krap. And that krap might turn to yes in English.
Or maybe.
But the fact that Kun Som Chai isn't going any further means, oh heck, he probably hasn't done it. Let me start doing some contingency plans here. But the Falang might read the krap as yes. Yes is yes. It's got to be ready come Friday. It's not ready. And then everybody loses out.
We did a program in the early days of Tonight about working with Thais. For some foreigners, it's very difficult to understand the Thai mentality of business. And, you know, deadlines and pressures and things like that are different in the Thai world than in the foreigner world.
Right. I think that in Thailand, one of the key things that comes out, relationships. Whether you say you've got a project, you've got a deadline, but after that, you've still got relationships that are going to last you for the rest of your life. So a lot of the time, if this is going to risk severing this relationship in the long run, well, it doesn't matter. You know, let's do something that's more of a long-term investment, because we could lose out here. And a lot of people, because, you know, the cost of living here is cheap, family units can support each other. You know, there might be a whole chunk of people in your office that if they were fired today, they might say, I might get a job in 6 to 8 months. It's not this urgent thing that might be in the West. So when you're working, there are other factors rather than just scared of losing a job working for a company.
When you do consulting work for companies, what is their number one requirement?
A lot of it is this: how do you motivate people to work, take action, come in? You see so many Falang come in and say, I've got an open door policy. Anyone that wants to come in and talk to me, talk. He said, I've told them that, no one talks. So, well, they're not going to. So say, how do we engage? A lot of the time, I'll work from both sides. So as I'm working with the Falang or the expats on this side, I'll also spend almost equal time or a lot of time with the Thai side as well, to see, come on guys, you know, we're like this, let's try and meet here. These guys are trying to come across to here. If you notice this happening, maybe give a little bit and help them out, and try and bring them together. But it's just that getting them working as a one unit.
So it's much more than the spoken word. The spoken word is important to bridge that gap. Right. But it is idiosyncrasies that
the spoken word is just mechanics. It's just on the outside. But like I said, once you learn the language, then shut up and see what else is going on there, because the spoken word is going to be useless unless you understand it. Which
expats are the most difficult to have that understanding? Are they Europeans? Are they Americans? Are they other Asians?
It really depends. Indians, when they're coming in here, you're getting very smart, very capable Indians coming into the IT sectors, HR sectors, working, and there's a lot of pride in that. A lot of the time, though, this pride can render itself in a way that's not too palatable for Thais. Getting somebody to swallow their pride is a tough thing. Other things for, say, Australians. You know, Australians have this thing where you hear about tall poppy syndrome. So if somebody is above the pack, might get cut down. And maybe that's in, I'm an Australian also, so that's in the culture. Coming into Thailand, where it's very stratified and you've got all these levels, that's a bit hard to get used to. And knowing, you know, how to speak, when not to speak, what to dress. It feels like putting shackles on for a lot of Australians. So different countries have different issues.
Australians, Americans, and English, they like to use the English language. They think it's a very powerful business language.
Right.
But it's not always the best language.
No, and you get people living here for a lifetime saying, I've never had to speak Thai. And I could say with these people, yes, you've never had to speak Thai, but you've also never accessed probably or being able to see the other side of the looking glass. And to me, that's valuable on a personal and a business level. to get things done. Sometimes being the ignorant foreigner also works because you can get away with things that you wouldn't get away with otherwise. It's finding a balance.
It's the Maiparai sentiment in Thai in reverse.
Right, right. ทุกอย่างเป็นไร
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I've seen you on local television shows where to most it would be a major challenge to do. You seem to do it effortlessly. And I watched you on YouTube last night do it in 8 or 9 languages.
My job, I'm a facilitator as well, so I hold training courses and teach negotiation. If in Thailand, I do it in Thai. If I'm in China, I do it in Chinese. In Indonesia, I do it in Indonesian. In India, you think I'm going to say do it in Hindi, but it's actually they all want to do it in English. But I guess you get used to going between the languages, but you couldn't do it if you're always translating. You've got to start, I guess, thinking on the level of meanings.
The problem with translation is that it adds time to the negotiations. Most negotiations start and stop very quickly.
Right. A lot of companies actually come in, they train me up as one of their representatives, and I'll actually go in and negotiate on their behalf. I'll be on their team with the executives, so I can go in. There's just an Australian joint venture happening at the moment, and I go in there, and I'll get the hard skills from them as well, and I'll use my soft skills to merge that and try and get a negotiation result.
Sitting in any negotiation and understanding what is being said by the other side is indeed critical. When we come back on tonight, we'll talk about negotiating skills. We'll be right back.